Okay, good evening, everyone. Today, it is Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. We're here in our city council chambers. It is 7:30 PM, and we're going to start our regularly scheduled city council meeting. I will hereby call this meeting to order. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, so we're going to ask you all to rise, and then when we're finished with that, we're going to welcome Pastor Wade Mitchell from Grace Apostolic Church to come and give us our words of inspiration.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Mitchell.
I'm so glad to be here today. Thank you, Madam Mayor, council members, and city clerk. Thank you for all that you do for our city. So glad to be here today. And on behalf of our church, Grace Apostolic, we're glad to be part of this community, everything going on. We have food pantry and all the events coming up for the holidays. We're glad to be part of all of that. So thank you for that. Let's all pray. God, we thank you, Lord, for this day. God, so very thankful for all that's being done here tonight. God, we pray, God, you help us through all of the considerations. God, all the decisions that need to be made in this place today. God, that we do it to the benefit of the city and the constituents of this city. God, help us, Lord, in all that we do. We'll give you thanks for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much for your kind words and for all that you do and your church does for our community. We really appreciate you. Thanks. May we have a roll call, Michelle?
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Binkowski.
Here.
Mayor Milan.
Here?
Mayor Pro Tem Moffett.
Present.
Councilmember Shepherd.
Here.
Thank you. Would someone like to make a motion to approve our agenda?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda for October 15th, 2024 as presented.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Binkowski.
Yes.
Mayor Milan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moffett.
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd.
Yes.
Thank you. We have approved our agenda, and we'll go to item number 6, which is public comment for items on the agenda. If you're here this evening and you'd like to speak to any item that we have on the agenda, we welcome you to come to the podium. We'd ask you to state your name and your address, and we will give you 3 minutes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Robert Chapman. I'm not a resident of Clawson. Am I allowed to speak still? I'm a contractor that bid on a project that's on the agenda today.
Sure.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. I had a question about the spray patch contract that's up. We were the opposing bid on it that was higher or whatever. And I kind of had a misunderstanding about that it was going to be bid on a tonnage rate, which is kind of the most fair rate when you don't have an engineered contract to express specifically what tonnage should be called for, which is typical in most cities under these contracts. So I don't feel as though the bid was apples to apples. I have requested multiple times actually through the superintendent of the DPW and then just today to the manager, so I don't expect him to have gotten it to me yet, what their tonnage price was from the winning bid, and did not get a response. So I'm trying to make sure that I can bid appropriately in the future and have that prepared, and try to get as fair a bid as possible, apples to apples, so that it can be clear. Because when you're bidding, when you're filling potholes and things like that, it's not a consistent tonnage. And again, how it can change a little bit. So the only way to truly make it fair is to have that fair, consistent bidding process. So I'm just trying to prepare for the future, not necessarily hold up now, but I know you guys got things to do. I am a coach here in Clawson, multiple kids in Clawson. I live in Royal Oak, so I've coached the Mavericks and the high school wrestling team, so I'm very involved in the community. So that's part of my concern too as well. All right?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak this evening? Okay, but then we will move on to item number 7, which is proclamations and presentations. This evening, we have a presentation by the Friends of the Blair Memorial Library. I don't know, I hope everyone understands what the Friends of the Blair Memorial Library do. They raise funds to help support the library programming, And we have a very active group of volunteers they are present at all of our activities, and they help Jenny in a lot of different ways, and they work really well together, and they're just a really enjoyable group, and here they are.
My name is Kathy Sear. I'm the president of the Friends of the Library, and this is
I'm
Jeannie.
Gina Nadovich. I'm the treasurer of the Friends of the Library.
And we are here to present to Penny Lubes a book in her honor that will be in the library, The Best Mystery Stories of the Year. She has, it's checked out in your name. Thank you so much. She has got a grant from Oakland County for $10,000 for the Friends of the Library. We did not ask for this. She presented it to us. Would you like to do this? And we all said, of course we would. And we were honored to receive it.
We're so lucky to have you.
Yes, it's just,
Thank you.
and our library director is just grinning from ear to ear. Planning. We have lots of new things she's planning, 1,000 books before kindergarten. The reading, that's going to be a new program starting soon, and you'll all hear about that because she's going to present it here. Is there anything you'd like to say?
It just keeps getting better and better at our library with our director and with people like Penny supporting us and our group. So yes, we're grateful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you very
you.
much. So,
Could we
it's our
have,
job in Oakland County to provide services for the communities we serve, so it was my pleasure to donate to the Friends of the Library and help the library out. I love mystery books, I'm an avid reader, I read about 3 books a year, so today in my email, I received a notice that I checked this book out, and I thought, did I?
so you already saw what you were going to get.
But I
Ahead
didn't
of
know
time.
that, yes.
You get to read it first.
Yes,
And then
thank
you
you
return
very
it to the
much.
library.
I love mysteries.
Yes, we know.
And thrillers.
I'm going to take one of you three, and then can you get the rest of the friends? Can the rest of the friends come up and let's take a group shot?
Eva,
Would you mind?
Madeline, come here.
Come on, you
Come
guys.
here.
You ladies.
Surprise.
Dan, you're all friends.
I'll let,
Get up here.
I'm going in because I'm a friend too.
Yes,
Yes, yes. Mhm, yes.
Wait, do you guys all want, you guys should all come. There's Mike.
Well, why don't we just get them?
We'll stand here.
That's really funny. Great.
All right, 3, 2, 1. One more camera.
Take a couple. You know, there's always.
I wish.
All right, I took a hand.
Okay, moving on, we will go to item 8A, which is consideration of approving the following consent agenda. Item A is minutes of the regular city council meeting held on Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. And item B would be our list of bills in the amount of $498,210.24.
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Michelle?
Councilmember Binkowski,
Yes.
Mayor Milan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moffett,
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd,
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. We've approved our consent agenda, and we'll move on to item 9A. Item 9A is consideration of approving traffic safety control orders TCO-04-24 through TCO-13-24.
So moved.
Support.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Per Chief Bause's memo, the Transportation Improvement Association completed traffic studies on intersections around the Clawson School campus area, and 10 recommendations were given. The recommendations were reviewed and approved by the Traffic and Safety Board on October 3rd, 2024. Chief is here if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Sorry. So it seems to be that it's just in the immediate vicinity of the school. Was there any consideration for the next block down on, what is that, Custer or anything? in that area?
On which street specifically? Because they did do Broadacre to Custer, and
Was that
they did John M. to Custer, too.
in Phillips to Custer, was that also? Okay, all right. There's a lot that was there. The other item is on the functioning light at Washington and 14 Mile, and being able to cross there safely, and whether or not that's something that could also be looked at.
Yeah, I can add that to the next traffic study.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, roll call, please, Michelle. Thank you, Chief House.
Mayor Milan?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moffett?
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Binkowski?
Yes.
Thank you. We have just approved TCO 0424 through TCO 13-24. Moving on to item 9B, we have consideration of a quote from Spray Patch to mitigate road and parking lot surface breakdown in specific areas.
Madam Mayor, I move the quote from Spray Patch be approved for $53,000 and to be paid out of the major and local roads funds.
Support.
Thank you. Mr. Raker?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Last year, in an effort to improve our roads and parking lots, where we are currently unable to fund complete reconstruction projects, we found Spray Patch proved it can be an additional tool in our efforts to improve our roads and parking lots. Attached are quotes from Spray Patch Road Repair Incorporated and SJR Pavement Repair Incorporated, along with a description of the locations. These locations are approximately 955 feet of road on Shenandoah Drive between West Stephen Avenue and School Street, also the northwest, northeast, and southwest city lots, along with the Hunter Community Center parking lot. This effort is not intended to be a permanent fix. However, we cannot continue to ignore these major issues without attempting to, at the very least, improve areas and help areas from continued deterioration while we continue aggressively searching out and developing funding mechanisms. We have budgeted this item for $30,000 from the local roads and $20,000 from the major roads. The remaining $3,000 will be covered through the current and respective fund surpluses. The administration recommends the administration recommends the approval of the quote from Spray Patch for $53,000 to be paid from the major and local roads funds. This item was reviewed favorably by the Infrastructure Committee on September 25th, 2024, and moved to council for consideration.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, just in light of Mr. Chapman's comments during open discussion, whether or not there may be I have no idea what the extent is on what their bid proposal was or potentially could be based on the information that he shared at the start of the meeting, and whether or not that could significantly impact, would it be significantly different than what we're looking at here? And what would that potentially do for timing if they were to say that they could come underneath what the budget was for this?
Well, I'll ask if Trevor could come. I'll start off. Mr. Chapman did bring to light an interesting approach as far as the tonnage that it may take, where last year we had conversations with the anticipated truckloads that Spray Patch would do. And so I was unfortunately not part of these conversations. I'm not saying that Mr. Chapman doesn't bring up a valid point of sorts. I think his approach is much more scientific, where in the approach you're assessing a severely deteriorated road and bringing it to some level of usability, which is probably more art than science, unfortunately. So he brings up a valid point. At this time, I'll turn it over to the city superintendent for DPW.
Yes, so we used the same company, Spray Patch, last year. I met with them, gave them the same information. I met with SJR, same conversation, same information. We talked about how they were going to quote it, and I believe we talked about he said tonnage, loads, to me, between talking to both of them, was similar, how they do it. We received our quote from Spray Patch, and it was not broken down by said tonnage or loads. It was just a number. So for me, I felt we did it fair. Maybe we'd be more specific in the future. I could see that.
Okay.
So asking for in the quote, we need to see what tonnage or loads you are using. Because even if it's just loads, I think we can still figure out tonnage to keep it equal. I can see that argument, and the fact that when they quoted it from Spray Patch, they did not break it down that way. They just, per job, this amount of money.
So can I ask, does that mean that because I see like this first line here, they're referencing the same place, right? He says Shenandoah to School Road
Yep.
at 375 per ton, and so it's like 100, because it comes to 37,500, right? So that's 10, right? Math. So then the other guy quotes that same stretch for 955 feet long. So does that mean he's going to put down less material because he hasn't quoted it by ton? Like, does it, like, I'm knowing nothing. I'm imagining, since he's talking about the tonnage, he's like bringing it up to a certain level or something. And with him quoting it differently, he's just saying how much he's putting down. The question is, sorry, is there a different methodology in addressing that same stretch of road? Is his putting more material down than the other one?
I believe the issue is we got one quote and they were asked to quote it that same way, except for they did not tell us how many ton or loads they were using on that stretch. They gave us just a price.
So the result's the same regardless of whether we say we need the tonnage or we just want the area done? Like,
I
is it the
believe
same
the results
thing?
are the same because, like I said, I had the same conversation with both companies about what we were looking for. The same conversation happened both times. The same information was given both times. I just believe we can't look at Spray Patch Company's quote was for X amount of dollars, where SJR came in with, here's the breakdown of how we got to our number.
And
So we're
it's-
not able to say, is Spray Patch saying they can do it in less, or are they doing a different price? Because they didn't quote us, they didn't break down the quote in a way where we can look at that. It's just a pure financial number.
Mr. Ricker?
So I think the desired outcome would be, the desired outcome being the operative word desired, would be the same. However, one person, Spray Patch, I noticed that their technique, they referenced scarfing in all the projects, where SGR had only that in the last project. And so I keyed in on that. I was like, well, their approaches are different. We did have a positive experience with Spray Patch last year. They did the scarfing. We went out there to actually observe the operation, and you can see the results in our own backyard here and in the parking lot by the post office. And so, but after I spoke with Mr. Chapman, we had a little bit more in-depth discussion about his techniques. And so, but I'm comfortable with, I think, moving forward with Spray Patch and being more specific. There are going to be more opportunities for this. This is a program, regardless of what happens in November. Spray Patch is proven, and unfortunately, Spray Patch is the name of the company. It's also kind of like the name of the technique that he also provides service to. And we can be more specific in the quantities and technique, so therefore it can be more competitive.
Can you give us a definition of what scarfing is?
It's surface preparation of the area that's affected, so that you get down to like coherent rock or cement or asphalt that is still intact. So you're removing all the loose debris. Kind of like surface prepping for paint.
Do you want to, is that a good definition?
If I can speak about it, is that okay?
Sure, if you'd like to tell us the technique.
Honestly, I believe that's out of order.
Is it out of order? Okay, I'm so sorry. Apparently, it's out of order.
Trevor, you want to take it? Mayor, if it's okay with Trevor taking a stab at defining scarfing?
Sure.
I believe the way he described it is, for the most part, accurate, but it's taking the cracks in the locations and not just cleaning them out, but you're finding the solid to get to.
So like, is it scraping it or?
It's
It's removing
blowing
the loose
air,
portions.
it is cleaning it out, but it's also, you want to get rid of all that loose stuff to find that spot where you connecting to.
It's a pretty in-depth operation. They have a specific machine that does it. It's kind of like almost, I want to say sawing or chipping away till you get down to it. It's a pretty impressive piece
Because
of
you could
machinery.
start scarfing an area that's this big and end up that big, especially on some of our roads.
Well, I guess I would like to, we have somebody here who's involved in the business. I'd like to hear a little bit more from them. So I don't know if I need to make a motion in order to allow them to speak, or
You could make a motion to open public comment,
we
right?
do that. So I'll make a motion to open public comment.
Support.
Michelle?
All right, so you can talk.
Councilmember Shepherd,
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Binkowski,
Yes.
Mayor Milan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moffett. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. So, for example, scarfing is typically done on concrete surface preparation. Okay, so school, it has concrete with an asphalt overlay on it, so there's a small bit of asphalt over top of it. That would not usually be scarfing, because a scarfing tool is basically a skid steer, or a bobcat is a common name for one, that has a tooth on it that would chase the concrete joints of any old dirt and debris out, and then it would be then blown out with compressed air, as you can read right in mine. So any of the concrete surfaces, we have a price to scarf. On your asphalt surfaces, for example, the back parking lot here was asphalt, you would not scarf that. You would just clean that with compressed air. We have a big toe behind compressor, or a backpack blowers can be used sometimes, although they're not quite as strong. The scarfing, for example, is what they did last year in the lot across the street where the post office is. So that's a concrete surface. They ripped all those joints out, then they blew it out with compressed air to try to bond to the existing surface. You're putting that concrete through a stress test so that you know you're getting all the loose, fragmented stuff away as best as possible. Okay? So if you're bonding to something that's already failing, obviously it's a patching process, but you do want to try to get it to as durable concrete as there is in there. You want to get anything loose out of there. So that's typically what the scarfing process is for. That's why I have it broken down. Am I able to ask a question about what either one of them said, or no?
Technically, no,
Okay.
but we can make sure they can get back to you with any questions if you want to grab them after the meeting.
All right, can I ask a question to the council?
You may ask a question. We're technically not supposed to reply, but you may ask.
Okay, so if he did say, as Trevor had said, if he told us the exact same thing and that he wanted it bidded per ton, why did they not bid it per ton? And when the manager had said that I was taking a scientific approach to it in comparison to an artistic approach, this is a civil engineering thing. It's not art. I mean, this is road construction here. I do have a very thorough approach. I've been doing this a very long time. We are probably the longest standing company to do spray injection asphalt is the technical name for it. Spray patch is the kind of crude name for it, but it's also very effective and it's commonly known as that. So if you look it up, Strategic Highway Research Program report that was done in the 90s across all the countries, or across the whole country and into Canada, they do reference this as spray injection asphalt. So again, that's a nationwide U.S. government study that they had done on it. There's a link to my website on it too as well, although our website is being rebuilt, so that may be changing shortly. So anyway, I appreciate it. Is there any other questions about the process that I can explain? I'd be happy to. Okay.
Thank you
very-
for sharing your
One other
knowledge.
quick thing is that as they had talked about, the depth of the repair, that is why it is a volume number on tonnage. So for example, if I patch a hole 5 by 5 and it's 1 inch deep in comparison to 5 inches deep, you're going to have times the material in there. Does that make sense? So that's why it's a tonnage rate. So again, if they're patching and they're only putting down a ½ inch over top of these things, kind of just skim coating them in, and we're cleaning it a little bit better and we're getting 1.5 inches in there, it's going to hold up a lot better in a sense. We did discuss also that we err on the side of caution because we don't know how deep, specifically on the concrete areas, that how deep it is when you go to scarf it out. It could go down 2 or 3 inches. It could go 4 or 6 inches. Obviously, that changes your tonnage rate. So we err on the side of caution for budget purposes, but then when you are charging by the ton, you only get charged for what material was used in the end. So, and that's what we have done in other cities like the city of Berkeley, which is a close neighbor, obviously. So, all right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
We appreciate your knowledge. Yes, sir?
To Trevor, did we not have the other asphalt services scarfed last year, or were they scarfed?
Only on the cement,
Only
the
on-
concrete,
okay,
yes.
Okay, all right. And as far as the scientific versus art, I'll take some issue with that, Mr. Johnson, because there is a discretionary factor with trying to get these roads to a usable grade, and that's what Spray Patch did. And apparently that may have gotten lost in conversation, but there is a certain level of discretion, which I will refer to as art.
Okay. Any other questions? Let's have a vote on this matter.
Mayor Pro Tem Moffitt? Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Binkowski?
No.
Mayor Milan?
Yes. Okay, thank you. We have just approved to utilize Spray Patch for the road and parking lot surface breakdown for the specified areas moving forward. And we'll move on to item 9C, which is consideration of the 2024-25 winter maintenance agreement between the City of Clawson and the Road Commission for Oakland County.
Madam Mayor, yeah.
Support. Whatever.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City of Clawson has always provided winter maintenance of 14 mile between Rochester Road to Campbell and Rochester Road 14 mile to Elmwood, which are technically the county's responsibility. For continuity's sake of snow ice removal management, our DPW included it as those areas are within or adjacent the city's borders. Months ago, DPW leadership met with leaders from the Road Commission for Oakland County, RCOC, and recently, in preparation for winter, they proposed the attached agreement for winter maintenance of those areas. Their agreement would have the RCOC pay the city $7,962.82 annually in 2 payments of 50% in December of 2024 and March of 2025. These are funds that previously were never realized for services provided. The city attorney has reviewed the agreement, and the administration is recommending city council's approval.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? No? Yes, Mr. Binkowski.
I just want to make sure I understand that we've been plowing these roads, but we didn't get paid, but now we are going to get paid?
It's precisely.
Okay.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Binkowski?
Yes.
Mayor Milan?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moffitt?
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd?
Thank you. We have just approved our winter maintenance agreement between the City of Clawson and the Road Commission of Oakland County. Moving on to item number 9D, we have consideration of establishing a public hearing to solicit public comments on the 2025 program year Community Development Block Grant application.
Madam Mayor, I move to establish a public hearing to solicit public comments on the 2024 Program Year Community Development Block Grant application for November 19th, 2024.
Support.
Yes, Mr. Raker.
Mr. Stepnitz.
Next.
The Community Development Block Grant is a grant funded through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, to keep communities sound, attractive, economically viable. Oakland County provides federal community development block grant funds to communities for revitalization projects. The program strengthens neighborhoods by supporting local revitalization, home improvement, and public services for senior citizens, low-income persons and families, disadvantaged youth, and disabled residents throughout most of Oakland County. As part of the application process through the county and federal government, we are required to hold a public hearing regarding our application. The application to the county is due on December 6, 2024. It is recommended to set the public hearing for November 19th. That will occur during the regular city council meeting on this date. We are exploring projects for program year 2025 and have gotten confirmation from the county on a project we've discussed and proposed, which is a minor street improvement project on South Washington from West 14 Mile to Jefferson. So it's a small stretch of road next to the senior high-rise off of 14 Mile. And so if you've driven down South Washington there, the road could use some repair. So instead of using our own funding through the miscellaneous concrete program, we're able to use CDBG funding for that project. So that's what will be presented to you at the next meeting.
Great. Does anyone have any
It's not the
questions?
dirt road. It's on
No.
Washington itself, right?
Correct. This is on Washington.
Okay.
And then just one more comment. In the packet, it said for the 2024 program year, it should be 2025 program year. So if I could ask you to have your motion amended to 25,
Oh.
not 24. Excuse me.
So amended.
Support. Thank you. Roll call, please, Michelle.
Councilmember Binkowski,
Yes.
Mayor Milan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moffett,
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd,
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. We will hold a public hearing on November 19th regarding our upcoming, or 2025 Community Development Block Grant application. Moving on to item 9E, we have consideration of canceling the Wednesday, November 6th, 2024 regular city council meeting.
I move the regular city council meeting scheduled for November 6, 2024 be canceled.
Support.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Per the city charter, section 4.07, city council meetings. City council meetings shall be held in accordance with the Michigan Open Meetings Act, Public Act 267 of 1976, MCL 15.261 as amended. Regular meetings of the city council shall be held at such times as may be prescribed by resolution, provided that it shall meet regularly, not less than once each month. The first Tuesday in November happens to be November 5th, 2024, which is the day of the presidential election. Our meeting schedule was approved for this year for the first meeting in November to be Wednesday, November 6th, 2024, the day after the election. The city clerk socialized the idea of canceling the November 6th, 2024 regular city council meeting during her comments at a previous meeting. The demands of executing a general presidential election are far greater than all other elections. With that in mind, the administration respectfully suggests canceling the regular city council meeting. The necessary business of the city can be conducted at the November 19th regular city council meeting.
Thank you. Any questions? Comments? Roll call, please, Michelle.
Mayor Milan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Moffett,
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd.
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Binkowski.
Yes.
Great. We have effectively canceled our meeting for November 6th, 2024 to allow our staff an opportunity to breathe during a very busy election week. And we move on to item number 10, which is unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? Good answer. We'll move to number 11, which is public comments for items not on the agenda. If you're here this evening and you'd like to speak to any item that we have not yet discussed, we welcome you to the podium. Just ask that you state your name and your address. We'll allot you 3 minutes. Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks.
My name's Joyce Gleason, 460 Park Drive, Clawson. I had just a question on, as you are doing some of the changing of the streets and how they're being paved and stuff like this. My question is concerning, because of the traffic in the inner city where the homes are up and down the streets, I noticed that in a lot of the homes, there are sometimes 3 to 4 cars are using the driveways. and therefore we are getting a lot of parking on both sides of some of the streets. And very difficult, especially Custard. We have a fire route, so it's not on our street at Park Drive. But I just noticed that sometimes there's 3 to 4 cars. It's very difficult. Washington has had that same problem where there's parking on both sides at events, and you cannot get through those places at all. And I was considering maybe we should do something about some of the both parking on both sides of some of these streets.
Okay,
That's all. Thank you.
awesome.
Is that good?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Did a great job. Thank you.
Hi, Erin
Hi.
Redmond. I'm here because I was at the ethics board last night. I had an ethics complaint that was due to be heard for the second time last night. However, it was not able to be heard because there seems to be a lot of potential conflicts of interest that are being sorted out before we can even address the complaint. One of them being the hiring of an outside attorney to give an unbiased opinion of the ethics complaint. It seems as though that job was given to our city attorney to find a attorney to analyze the ethics complaint against our city attorney. And last night at the meeting, when it was discussed, the clerk mentioned that that board does not have spending power, which is odd because our charter says that that board is able to ask the city council for spending. And I don't read anywhere that it says our attorney has spending power. So I'm hoping that this message to you would be to help maybe sort some things out at the ethics board so that it can be efficient in a way that it hasn't been able to be efficient, and it's nobody on that board. It's simply a lot of mechanicals looking at, the chair was looking at whether or not he should recuse himself, and there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Most importantly, I do believe that an ethics complaint is a individual having an ethics complaint against an individual. So my perception of that, I'm not an attorney, obviously, would be that we both deserve equal protection of fairness under the law. So the fact that the attorney is seeking another attorney to give that opinion, I think is questionable, and I do believe it is the job of the ethics board. The ethics ordinance actually states in it that it is the board's decision to seek an advisory opinion. At any meeting I've gone to, which has been 2 with them, they have not made that decision. So which is kind of the essence of my ethics complaint, I won't go there, but just allowing boards and commissions to be able to act within their own power without having administrative power overstepping those boundaries. So hopefully I have to go back to the ethics board because we weren't able to move forward. I agreed to separate a couple things for them and make it more clear. And they've asked me to come back. So hopefully this can be sorted out and somehow there can be some communication with you guys. I don't know. I've emailed our city manager multiple times and I've never gotten responses. So I don't know where else to go to get an answer. So I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. My name is Daniel Boyle. I live on 226 Broadacre. I just have a concern and complaint about the way some of the construction's being done. Past Thursday, F&M Contracting came by and while they were offloading their backhoe, they did not have control of the situation at all. They hit my fiance's car with the backhoe, and the backhoe proceeded to fall off the bed and then tilt at a 45 on the ground. They weren't using a spotter. They had no real perception of what was going on in the area. The guy didn't even know that he hit a car until after he got out and we had to explain to him, what had happened. Does not feel like a lot of concern has been given for that level of traffic and foot traffic and people living there right by the school. And quite frankly, it was very fortunate nobody got hurt and that the only damage was a car, because that guy had no situational awareness, and his site manager was not around. He was offloading that thing on his own. He did not have enough situational awareness to do that safely on his own.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening.
Kathy Sira, I live at 255 Chippewa. I'm here mainly for the library and the Friends of the Library. We would like to request either picnic tables or benches to be put in the park next to the library, and maybe a new couple benches back where the gardens are by the historical house. We've asked for quotes. We have one member that would like to purchase a bench and have it dedicated to her husband, but we still haven't got any prices. So we have seen that they're at other parks. They've been downtown. There's couple new picnic tables on Main Street, and then the park on the corner up there has a picnic table. So we'd just like to consider that, put that in your little budget, and we'd like it there.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Andrea Kozak. I live at 640 Shenandoah Drive. I just wanted to kind of request, and I don't know how often the city does this, but it seems like the main sewer lines need to be cleaned out, especially like in the area that I live. A lot of, when it storms, like there's a lot of leaf buildup and debris, but that's not like my main concern. We all live in Clawson, and we all know that there's root issues with the drains, and I get my drains cleaned out like at least twice a year for routine maintenance. And in the last 6 months, I've had to have 3 plumbers come out and re-snake the drain that goes from my house to the street. And they said that the drain itself is clear, but it's all the main sewer backing up. And so typically when I have like root backup and things like that, it's dirt and debris. But this is actually sewage coming up from into my basement. And I've had 2 different plumbers come out, and all of them have told me the same thing, that it's the main sewer line. I can't tell you the last time I've seen the sewer lines cleaned out, so that's kind of my request.
Okay, great.
Thank
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else? Okay, thank you for public comment this evening. We'll close public comment, and we will move to our city clerk's report. Michelle?
Thank you. Just as we're 3 weeks from the election, obviously our office is very busy and trying to keep up with all the duties. Just wanted to remind all of our voters that we do have the opportunity for early voting. October 26th through November 3rd will be the 9 days prior to the election. Will be from 8:30 to 4:30, with exception of Thursday, October 31st, which is 12 noon till 8 p.m. The location is at the Troy Community Center off Livernois, just north of Big Beaver. And our notices went out to all of those located in the relocation, of precinct for the construction of Kenwood School. So the notices should have hit the mail Monday, is what I was told. So everyone should have those, that their location has been moved to the new elementary school right directly behind City Hall here in the cafeteria for this election. And then if anyone has issues with not receiving their ballots, to please contact our office. I know that we are still getting calls from the ballots that went out November 3rd of people not receiving them. So we're obviously not in control of the post office, but I'm asking people to wait till Monday. Let's give it till Monday. If the ballots have not been received by then, to let us know, and we'll reissue a ballot. So.
Okay, great.
As far as signage for Precinct 1, what additional signage will there be?
We will put on the sandwich boards out there, directing them. It has a QR code on it, which obviously gives them, if someone's not familiar with where the school is, it will give them a map.
Okay.
direction to where the location is. We'll also put signage here at the elementary school because they do have a unique driveway situation that they come in off of Phillips. The one-way goes around and then comes back out to Phillips, and that parking is only one way. So, we'll try to put signage at both, because I think you can come in a driveway down, or does it come in off Washington?
Comes
It
off
might come
Washington. Comes off Washington.
So
and
you
goes
can't
up.
get into that parking lot without coming in Washington. So we'll probably have to put signage at both of those locations, because they can park back here in the school's parking lot and walk, like across the playground area to get to the door as well. So we'll post, we'll have as much signage out there as we can to let people know where that location is.
Because Washington will still be closed by the time that, for Election Day. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes.
You mean Washington and Broadacre?
Yeah.
Well, I think the entrance is more.
Well, I mean, you come up from Washington and 14.
True, they're not going to be able to come through that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is still,
We'll have to put signage, sandwich boards.
Okay.
we'll do our best to get signage out there, to let people know.
Thank you, Michelle. Let us have our city attorney's report. Mr. Newshy?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. Today, we had just a brief update. The Ordinance Review Committee met earlier today. It was a very good discussion, very lively discussion today on account of the topics. One of them is coming to you fairly soon, the contracts, the new additions to our Code of Ordinances. We'll have it hopefully by the next meeting of council, your next agenda. And then we also took a look at and started discussions with respect to any, if council so wishes and the Ordinance Review Committee so wishes, any potential review of the Code of Ethics. All that forthcoming. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions? And we will move to our city manager's report. Mr. Raker?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Please recall last week I shared the need to consider dates for what might turn into an annual joint meeting between council and the school board. Last year, we met on Monday, January 8th. Perhaps January 6th or 13th of 2025 is a starting point for both bodies to consider. Tentatively, staff and I are looking at hosting infrastructure improvement bond town hall meetings, one in the afternoon at Hunter and one in the evening here at City Hall. Both would likely be on the same day and would be either October 29th or 30th. More to follow on that once it's determined. Today started leaf pickup in the city, and the last day of leaf pickup will be December 5th, which is the end of the first full week after Thanksgiving. So December 5th will end leaf pickup. Pending any questions, that's my report, ma'am.
Thank you.
Just to follow up, as far as once the leaf pickup is done, is that the yard waste or at the street sweep?
Please, Trevor.
The leaf pickup is just the curbside leaf pickup that the city does. The compost, I believe, goes to mid-December. I don't know the date off the top of my head.
All right, so if you missed the last date to put leaves out onto the curb, at least
You can still
put it
bag
back.
it and
Okay.
put 'em up, yes.
Okay.
December 11th.
Okay.
See.
Good teamwork.
This is a good point, because it does become an issue every year.
Absolutely.
Anything else for our city manager? Then let's go to city council comments. Councilmember Minkowski.
Nothing from me.
Thank you. Ms. Moffett.
I have nothing.
Thank you. Councilmember Anderson.
No comments.
And Councilmember Shepherd.
None, thank you.
Okay, I would just like to remind everyone that this upcoming Sunday, we have the trick or treat trail. Starts at what time? 6 o'clock. Get in line early because it's a long line. And pray for no rain. And then the following Saturday will be the events downtown, sponsored by our DDA. We will have a trick or treat downtown in the morning for children, and then in the afternoon, there's an opportunity to participate in a pub crawl. If you're interested in those events, please see the DDA website. They have information, and you can sign up in advance for the pub crawl. And that is it. I think let us just call this, Ms. Councilmember Shepherd, you are ready to go. Just go ahead and do it.
Motion to adjourn.
Good job. Support. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Moffett?
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Binkowski?
Yes.
Mayor Milan?
Yes. And thank you to everyone who participated today. We really appreciate you. Have a good evening.
Sorry.
I will happily sign now. Thanks for staying for the whole thing.